Hi, Leo Dreger here. I want to talk to you about a forensics program that I typically use called RecoverMyFiles. I would put this in the category of kind of like freeware, borderline adware type of programs, but it's a quick sanity check to try to recover deleted or lost or orphaned files. I've got a shortcut that I've stored here on the desktop. It's called RecoverMyFiles. It's actually, you can see that while I have the icon highlighted, it's actually through get data, and it's at RecoverMyFiles version 4. So I'm going to open up this program through the shortcut. It's a very, very, very easy install. You can get this by a simple Google internet search by doing Recover My Files with no spaces, but it's by Advanced Data Recovery Software. You get little tips here in the beginning. Now that you see this, I'm not going to share the tips on startup anymore, but you could go and get a whole bunch of quick tips if you wanted to learn how to use the software through that mechanism, or you can just close it out. So right away, you're presented with two options. You can recover files, recover a drive or a whole drive. We're going to specifically just do the simple version, but you can try to recover a whole drive. You may want to try this if you have a lost or deleted or corrupt drive sitting in your closet somewhere. These are the types of labs where it's like, try to analyze those old drives that you have and see if you can't get some data off of them. Okay, so what we're going to do is recover files, and you notice if you just click on these options here, they change. So at first, you might try double clicking this stuff and think, well, it's not working. Well, it is. It's just because the color has changed. So select recover files, select next, and it'll tell you, C drive, or in this case, I have a USB drive plugged into it. And I'm going to do this to the local C drive of this computer here. But we could add an image, we could add a RAID drive, we could add a specific folder. You can refresh this if you want, which isn't going to do anything here because I didn't add anything. So just go ahead and grab your local C drive. At first, click Start. Search for deleted files, or search for deleted files, then search for lost file types. And the difference between these two options is going to be speed. I'm going to go ahead and do the latter option here. This scans the operating system record to quickly find deleted files, and then subsequently scans the drive to find additional lost files where the operating system record no longer exists by locating unique file structures, the header, the content, and the footer of your selected file types. And it is a much longer search. Actually, what I'll do is I'll do the recommended version. You can try the long version for the sake of the video and time in the video. I'm just going to do the fast one. So I'm going to do a start here, and you can see how quickly this utility runs in the recommended options. It should only take 10-15 seconds at best. Okay, so all search is complete. Okay, great. And you can see I found a couple items of interest. So lost files, I found _sh folder.dll. And if you click on this, it'll tell you where it found it. So in this case, it's actually sitting in lost and found. The date modified, the date created, the date accessed. So it pulls the file or folder properties, gives those to you. And then it tells you the type. It's an executable, the directory if it's in, the record number. Yeah, and you can kind of move these around a little bit, which is probably what you're going to need to do to actually read them. The version, so it's a 32-bit DLL, and the file size. And then you could even, right-click those and get a message, MD5 sum or something like that if you actually go to the specific file. Inside this program, the right-click for, MD5 calculator or something like that's not going to work. But you can copy it. You can copy the file, or you can clear it from the log. Okay. Also in the root, okay, it'll tell you, gives you the ability to run down and see, other files that have been lost. So you can see there's a schedule XML file here. Now you're only going to get a preview here if it's like a picture or something like that. Okay. Otherwise, anything like XML or .dll, there's going to be no photo. Okay. Event log. you can kind of see what it does. Okay, so it in what I would recommend here is think about this in terms of forensics analysis and really learning what these programs do, right? So it started the search on C. It started looking at this particular cylinder. The tracks per cylinder, it found out that there are 255 sectors per track, 63, and we'll probably cover this stuff later when we start getting into the details of hard drives. That's not really the scope of this video here, but I want to show you that, it is listed here when we come back to it later in other videos. The bytes per sector, searching for files in the C drive, the number of cylinders, again, that's the same thing here. Actually, this whole section looks like it's repeated here. So, 1305, 255, 63, 512, 1305, 255, 63, 512. Okay, so great. It looks like it starts trying to read the master file table. So master file table 16 is incomplete. Okay, 17 through 23 incomplete. It found some data here. It found some other references in the master file table. The number of known files in the master file table, so there's 66,000 files. Number of known folders, number of the known system items, number of deleted files, which it found basically 2 on the lost and found, and 2 in the root. The total number of files that were located, and then basically your search is complete. And then you can clear the log or copy the stuff to the clipboard, right? Next, you can go through file types, look at executables and XML. So if you want to search by file type, you can certainly do that. If you want to search by date, you can do that as well, okay? So that'll go through and you can select this stuff and get another detailed view in here. But you'll have to go to preview if you actually want to see those. Or you can search. You can search for directly in here. What's the size of the file? What is the state of the file? Is it deleted? Is it in folders? Is it checked? What's the size? Do you remember? Do you not remember? Is it less than 1024, greater than 1024? So you can get pretty specific. When was it changed? Do you have any idea? That helps narrow down the searches, because remember, it's looking at modified, created, and accessed. So if you got a huge hard drive, or let's just in theory say that you're analyzing a SAN, and you can narrow that down to a particular date or timestamp to speed up your file, you may want to do that. All right, or part of the file name, or words or phrases inside the files. You certainly can do those if you like. Okay. You have an update to this file. You have some basic options. Okay, so in the options you have file types. Okay, you can see that it'll pick AVI files, executables, and DLLs or sys files. Your audio files like M4, P, B, or A, JPEG, and the different extensions, Excel's different extensions, Word different extensions. You should get the idea by now. Microsoft Office files versus camera-oriented files, and this all helps you narrow down the scope, because if you're looking for cameras or pictures, you may not need, email files, right, or databases. So it really just depends on, how you want this program to work. My background specifically is in incident response, and every now and then we would get a call to the SOC help desk, and somebody's browsing porn on the network, or somebody was looking at pornographic material on their computer, and we would go image their hard drive, and we would have to search for specific types of files related to that specific type of investigation. Okay, the pornography category just happens to be an easy one, because those are going to either be pictures, videos. I kind of doubt they would be audios, just because I guess that would kind of make me scratch my head and go, well, okay, great, that's interesting. But nonetheless, My point is that you can use the investigation context to your advantage here and search for just specific file types. Also, in general, you want to use a wizard, you want the tips on the startup, logging. I recommend you leave this to verbose, but you can, in theory, turn it off. What do you want it to display? Do you want a properties dialog box or show unknown types in hex view? I actually recommend you select that because I want you to guys get used to start looking at hexadecimal information. That will help later, especially if you start talking about fragmented files or orphan files that where headers are corrupted and things like that. You have search options, set all the lost files to a fixed size. Drive recovery, limit the maximum number of partitions to be found. I'd really never change that. You can save or do not save or report issues or not. You can look at CDs. You have device access here, so you got the default Windows 95 ME file types. What I would just chalk those up as to the older CD-ROM type methods, which is ASPI, or the newer stuff, which goes pretty much Windows NT and later, which would be the SPTI format. And for right now, you just need to know that there's multiples. You can certainly Google this stuff if you'd like further information on that. That's out of scope here, so I'm not going to take the time here to explain it. And then you have some advanced setups, ignore floppy drives, if you still have those laying around. Show the MD5 hash. Notice that's right here. Okay, so that's a cool feature that I really like in this program. Run a lost file search only, or scan for lost files across the whole device, not only in the free space. So that's kind of another helpful file there. Okay, and then next time you do your searches, you can see that you'll get some additional fields here. So I'm just going to run through this one time quickly here. It should take just about the same amount of time, but it's going to be quick. It probably is going to take a little bit longer than the first one, but not much longer. It depends on the relative size of your drive, though. So we're going to go down, grab our files here, and you can see that it added the MD5 digest in the search results here. And now something for XML, notice that the preview information here is now actually showing the XML as well too. All right, so that may be helpful. All right, but something like a DLL or any sort of compiled file, you're not going to get a preview. And here's your MD5. So that's really great utility. It's definitely what I would call the starter kit in the worlds of forensics. So try using this. We're building here upon basics to more advanced, and then you can see how a tool like this actually includes some of the other utilities from before, and eventually we'll build up to all-inclusive programs that do most of this. So you just have to run one set of programs rather than all of these individual utilities, right? Because you can see MD5 sum or SHA would be like built right into a program like this. So thank you for watching. My name's Leo Drager.